Are you considering moving to Meridian, Idaho? A lot of us know why Meridian is so great, but sometimes the cons of living in Meridian, Idaho don't get enough love, so we're gonna dive into some of those and some of the pros. So come along as we take a look at the pros and cons of living in Meridian, Idaho. I would absolutely love to help you get a home here in the Treasure Valley. And stick around to the end of this video because there's a bonus or two for you waiting at the end. Hi, Brian Hymas here, real estate agent up here in the Boise area. Before we get started in those pros and cons of Meridian, Idaho, tap the subscribe button, then hit the bell, and then you'll be notified once I release any new videos on this channel so that anything I release on the Treasure Valley is yours and you'll be the first to know about it. Look, we're getting dozens of phone calls each week on people just like you investigating Meridian and Boise and the surrounding areas and trying to get up here. Give us a call or a text at the number on your screen or an email, and we will get back to you as soon as we can to help you discover Meridian, Idaho and the surrounding area. In 1990, the population was 6,700. Now the census data we have says we're hovering right about 130,000 residents. I remember going to school, I went to Meridian High School, and I remember seeing like Welcome Meridian population and it was 29 or 33,000 then. So from 90 to 2000, a huge jump. In 2000 to 2021, a exponential growth. I mean, this place is on fire. And we're gonna talk about some of the pros and cons that have come with that growth because there is a lot of both and you have to be aware of it. Overall, obviously a great city, that's why it's growing so much, but there definitely are some things you need to be aware of. One of the pros to living in Meridian, Idaho is the walkability. So it depends on what part of Meridian you're at, because if you're in South Meridian where it's purely residential, you can walk to the YMCA, but other than that, you're driving everywhere. But if you're in Central Meridian and you live by the high school, you live by the shops, you live by the restaurants, you have a grocery store you can walk to, like it changes. So Meridian's pretty diverse. There's North Meridian, Central Meridian, and South Meridian. North Meridian is Rocky Mountain High School, it's Meridian High School. Central Meridian is for the most part Meridian High School. There is some Mountain View that creeps up in there. And then South Meridian is mostly Mountain View High School, kind of give you some high school ranges there, if that helps you at all. But Meridian in and of itself could be a self-sustaining community. 130,000 residents, it definitely has the population to do so. You know, your dentists, your restaurants, your hospitals. Speaking of hospitals, St. Luke's is located in Meridian. They have an emergency room there. St. Luke's has 7 or 9 hospitals here in the valley. They're our largest. They're one of the largest employers in the state of Idaho as well. They have a huge one right at Eagle Road in the freeway. That is one of their largest hospitals and it's located in Meridian. One of the cons of Meridian is the traffic. Now, traffic is super relative, right? My buddy married a gal from small town Idaho and she hated Boise's traffic. When I take Californians or whatever, name your state around here on tours here in the valley, and I say, this is our traffic, you know, we had to wait twice at a stoplight, they're pretty pleased with our traffic to say the least. One of Idaho's busiest intersections is in Meridian. It's Fairview and Eagle. And at that intersection, there are 3 lanes of oncoming traffic. There are 2 left turn lanes. There's 3 lanes going straight, and there's 1 right turn lane. So like 9 lanes of traffic. That's large, but however, that road is mostly 2 lanes one way with a center turn lane. So you'll find that even those larger roads can't really accommodate for all the traffic and growth we have. You'll find waiting at stoplights on Eagle Road, a pretty common thing. If you try to take another road, it's single lane, and so it's not exactly moving fast. Not as many cars are on it, but the capacity on those roads is a little less, I think you understand. Meridian is built on a grid system, right? So like instead of the city blocks where it's an eighth of a, you know, each block is an eighth of a mile, this is a mile grid system. So most main roads are on those miles. So you can go 1 mile north, 1 mile west, 1 mile north, 1 mile east. And you can keep on doing this, and there's not really any neighborhoods you can cut through or side roads you can cut through because it's built on this grid. So having said that, there's roads that run parallel to the freeway, there's roads that run parallel to Eagle Road that go north and south. You know, there's Meridian Road, this is the Meridian exit, or there's 10 Mile exit, which is 10 Mile. And we'll talk about 10 Mile at the end of this video as it is a bonus. One of Meridian's cons is that it's pro in a sense, and that is the grid system. The problem is that brings a lot of traffic and then it also brings a lot of road construction. Right now, I feel like, I'm guessing any town is this way, but I feel like because of its growth I've seen since I've been here since birth, you really are finding any road has been worked on. It seems like, and if it's not worked on now, you're wondering why it hasn't. And so there's a lot of roads like that. I wouldn't say I hit traffic in road construction every day, but it is common. It's about 1 o'clock here right now and I'm about to leave out on an appointment I have in a little bit. And then going clear across town. I'm in Eagle, I'm gonna go clear to Boise, I'm gonna pass through Meridian to get there. and I'm not worried about any traffic delaying me in getting there. Also, another fun fact, which is a con for you Californians or you people from Phoenix or Seattle, we have one freeway. It is the 84, I wanna say. And you know, you Californians will say you take the 101 to the 5 to the 16, the 408 to the, you know, all those numbers. We have what we call the freeway. No one calls it a number. If you look on the map, you'll see Chinden Road is the 20. You'll see State Highway is 44. You'll see Eagle Road is 55, but no one calls Eagle Road Highway 55, even though that is the official highway that goes through there. No one calls Chinden 20. I'm starting to hear that a little bit just because of the move-ins, but it's Chinden Road, it's State Highway, it's Eagle Road, and we have the freeway. There is one split off of the freeway, and it's 184, but we don't call it 184, we call it the connector. That goes straight from the Flying Y, where that three-way freeway is, going down to downtown. Number 2 on Meridian's pros list is its careers and job opportunities. So if you live in Meridian, to go downtown is a quick jaunt on the freeway. But Meridian has actually changed its tax code, and I don't know the specifics, but I do know that it's been advantageous for some companies to move here. One of the companies that moved here from the Illinois area, if I'm not mistaken, is Paylocity. And there's also a tech boom happening in the area. And so there are companies that are coming here. There's large corporations. Building is obviously a huge corporation here as well. We have seen those people come and those businesses come, and it's been very helpful to the community overall because of the turnover of that dollar. But overall, there are more people coming to Meridian to work than there are people in Meridian that leave to go out of the city to work. Now, the cons of Meridian and the business scene is the average income for one job in Meridian is $53,000. Now, that's great if you have 2 incomes, but if you have 1 income, that's stretching it, right? And the average hourly employee makes about 16 bucks an hour. One of the cons that we saw was businesses went down with the recent worldwide chaos that happened, if you will. But overall, Meridian, comparatively speaking to other cities, other states, especially states whose policies are more strict, if you will, Meridian fared pretty well for the pandemic overall. Now, I know there's a story, and I know there's a sad story for every, good one we can tell, but overall, we saw it pretty up and up. Number 3 on Meridian's pros is the community and what that brings overall to the relationships that people have, to the safety we feel. There's a ton of parks in Meridian. There are community parks, there are regional parks, there's neighborhood parks, there's mini parks, there's dog parks. The city hall has a plaza, there's sport parks. There's a ton of different things that the city provides. Simple green grass area with maybe some play structures, some swings, some tennis courts, there is pickleball courts, there are ponds, etc. So keep in mind, that's something that people find that they really enjoy here is the open land. There's a ton of building going on. When it comes to the parks, it's pretty good. A ton of shops and entertainment. There's a ton of sports offered for your kiddos. There's 6 fire stations in Meridian, Idaho. People will ask about the schools. The schools are great. If you don't like the school you're in for whatever reason, there are charter schools you can apply to. For example, my kids go to a charter school within a mile of our home. People travel 45 minutes to get to that school in particular. It's usually done on a lottery system, but there are great schools. You can see a lot of those ratings online. That's one of the reasons we've seen such good growth here in Meridian is the school ratings, because people want to be where those are. That helps resale value as well. If you don't like the school that you're at, you simply just apply to go to a charter school or a magnet school or whatever it might be. So you can have all these options that you're not stuck and confined to one place. So overall, Meridian's community feel, the schools, the crime rate are a great thing. I will say the cons are the stats that we pull up on the crime rate. Now, I've grown up in Meridian, right? My house is in Boise, but for all intents and purposes, we lived in Meridian. I never felt unsafe. Now, let's say you're coming from South Central LA. You're gonna be thinking that you're in the world's safest place known to mankind, okay? There's not if there's ever a shooting, it's, it makes the headlines. It's not just like, oh, there's another one. It makes the headlines. We don't see that type of stuff going on here. Meridian's crime rate is safer than 38% of Idaho's communities. We're safer than 52% of the nation's cities all over the nation. Meridian has a crime rate of 12 per every 1,000 residents. And according to the FBI, a chance of becoming a victim to a crime is 1 in 84 in Meridian, Idaho. That might alarm you. I promise you, it's a dang safe community. Number 4, obviously I had to talk about the housing in Meridian, Idaho. Now, the pros are the value you're getting out of your house, and the pros are that the economy is still going up. What used to cost $300,000 is going for $450, $475, a basic 4-bed, 2.5 bath, 2-story home with 2-car garage. Those types of things are going up and up. The average home price here is just a tick over $400,000. There is a rumor here that if you don't have cash, you're not gonna get a house in Meridian. That is thanks to all the out-of-staters. Maybe you are one of those watching this. But there is a great chance if you're financed that you can still get a home if you're financed. I currently have 3 houses under contract and all 3 of those are financed. One of them is VA, one of them is conventional, and the other one is conventional. So it gives you an idea. Some people will even say that you can't get a house if it's a VA loan. Well, we're proving that wrong, right? Some of the cons with Meridian's growth is the lot sizes. The lot sizes are shrinking. You can't call it high density residential because that is a different category, but it is a little more dense than it used to be. I grew up, again, in Boise. It was Meridian though, and it was a half acre, you know, spread out type of thing. That is really hard to find these days. Just a bare acre of land is gonna cost you a couple $100,000 at the current time. So you need to plan on being in a good sized home. For a new home, I would say at least $400,000. If you're gonna be in a used home, you've got chances of getting in something older. Maybe it's different areas of town. You might be paying closer to $300,000, but you wanna plan on $400,000, $500,000, even north of that, because homes that are, you know, 4,000 square feet that have a third of an acre, those things are going close to $1 million here. And don't get me wrong, cash certainly helps your cause in getting a home. Now, a couple bonus items of information for you about Meridian, Idaho. Meridian is debt-free. Everything they buy is with cash, so that is actually really cool. They put up a new building, city building, about 10 years ago in downtown Meridian, paid for with cash. There's a ton of revitalization going down in the central Meridian. That's where the older parts are. Some of the housing that needs improvement is getting that improvement downtown Meridian. And another thing to know about Meridian, Idaho is their plans. So right now you'll know Eagle Road is like the main corridor of traffic getting off the freeway and heading north through Meridian. But they also have the 10-mile exit, which is planned to be the next Eagle Road. So there'll be 2 roads that will be 5 lanes of traffic on those 2 roads. It's just nice to know they're planning ahead and that 10 miles is going to become very similar to Eagle, relieving some of that stress, as well as knowing where the growth of the community is happening, and next it's going west right now. So again, I would absolutely love it if I could help you move to Meridian or any of the surrounding areas. It's what I do, it's why I make these videos. I try to educate, bring those who are like-minded into the town. There is a rumor out there that we hate people from California. Not true at all. There are some people who have express that, and I would say more than that, people from that state, we're trying to keep this place the same great state that we grew up and loved. So if that's you, we'd love to welcome you out and I'd love to help you out. Again, my number is on the screen to text or call. Email me as well. I'm getting dozens of people each week doing that, and I would love to make you one of them. It's why I do these videos, is to help you. Maybe Meridian's not your place. Maybe you want to check out Eagle. Maybe you want to see Boise's top 9 cities. No matter what, there's a city for you, and we'd welcome you if you want to keep this state the same great state it's always been. And again, click the subscribe button, hit the bell so you'll be notified every time I put out a new video, because I've got tons more videos coming down the pipe for you, and I want you to be the first one to see those.